Hello film editors, this is a quick tutorial on how to export your finished project from Final Cut Pro 10. So I'm using Final Cut Pro 10.0.7 here, the latest edition, and so that has brought us a couple of fun new buttons. So for instance we have this button for importing footage, and then we have also on this side a button for sharing videos, completed video projects. So here I've got this open timeline. I've just got a little quick video that I cut up from YouTube to show in class for you guys. But what I'm going to do now is play with the presets for exporting. So there's a couple ways to do this. First, you could go to File. You could, got to click in the timeline first. So if we click in the timeline, you go to File, and then you can do Share, and then choose from one of these preset destinations. Another thing you can do is send to compressor, but that's a step that I think we can just avoid now at this point for the types of projects that you guys are making. So here we've got our video. We're just going to click on the share button over here now, and here are the, again, preset types of compression rates. So one thing you could do is pop in a blank DVD and hit DVD. So this is a great way to do things, especially if you've got a fairly long project that is large file size and you'd like to save some room on your hard drive, or if your assignment calls for you to produce a DVD, then this is obviously the best way to do it. So here's the info on how it's all going to look. The settings, if you click on that, this tells you where it's burning and onto what kind of DVD device you're using. But the reason that I'm showing you this part though too is you can choose between black and white template, which will make your DVD background on the menu screen either black or white, obviously. But then you can also do this. You can use chapter markers as subtitles, so that you could have your chapter markers from your, let's say for instance you're producing a long project with chapter markers, those would show up here. Another thing you could do is add a background, so you could pick a picture and then be able to use that as your DVD menu, and you can see there it's a letterbox type of outline, or whatever. And then there is your chapter menu. So that's a good way to do things too. So then I'm not going to do that today. Instead, what I'm going to do, since I've got a short project, is I'm going to click on this again. I can post it directly to YouTube, to our YouTube account, if you want to do that. Of course, Vimeo and Facebook as well. One that we'll look at here is to send to Apple devices 720p. You can also do 1080p. It's a larger file size, not necessarily that big of a difference unless you're working with really cool HD stuff. But you know, if you're trying to save some room, just go 720. So we'll export using 720. You can see here the estimated file size is only 37.4 after it compresses, which is, you know, perfect for a small little project like this. You can add it to a particular playlist in your iTunes. So what this will do is tell you where you're saving it basically in your iTunes. I've got all these different playlists. I only want it in my library. That's the only place where it would make sense. I'm going to hit share, and then it's going to give me the percentage of completion right here. It'll tell me how long it's going to take before or what percentage it's at before it's actually going to be in my iTunes. So let's say that it is done. I'm not going to wait for it here because it'll be a while. But let's say it's done. What it will do is export over to iTunes. Then you will simply click on Movies, and then it will show up in your home videos. So let's say that this is the video we've just exported. There it is in my iTunes, ready for display. But let's say that you need to put this on someone else's computer. What you will do is click on it, or right click on it, do Show in Finder right here, and then that will show up right there. You take it and you airdrop it to whomever is needing it. Okay, so there you go. Now back to Final Cut Pro here for a second. Okay, so you can see it's not quite done there. You can click on it to see the percentage as it's going through the sharing process. I don't really want it to do all of that right now, but I'll just let it go, I guess. So another thing you can do is click on the sharing exports again, or presets again. You can also export file like this. So exporting the file like this is going to make it huge, as you can see, because what it will do in the settings is make it so that the source is Apple ProRes 422, basically their highest compression rate. It's going to be way too big. So what you could do is set it to H.264, which you can see dramatically reduces the file size, but it's still fairly large. So if that's the kind of preset that you need, you can do that, have a larger file size that way as well. But then another thing you can do is use compressor type of destinations. So you can add a destination in your preferences. So here's the list of ways to add destinations. What I like to do is use compressor settings. So I will click on compressor. Maybe. There we go. So click on compressor settings. You've got this list of various ones that that you can use directly from compressor. Let's say I want to put it on a website, like for instance my own website, but I don't want a huge file size, and I don't want to, have something that would look better. I just need something to fit, not take up too much hard drive space. So what I could do is choose one of these Wi-Fi or broadband types of compression rates. However, with YouTube and everything, there's really no reason to do that anymore. So what you can do is take one of these higher settings, like HD 720p, and choose that in your preferences. So what that will do is just simply add it to your destination preferences in Final Cut Pro. So then you click out of that, you click on Share again, then you click on HD 720p, and it will tell you the same kind of stuff. It's going to be a fairly large file size here, 322 megabytes for a 4-minute movie. That's pretty big. But then what I would do is simply tell it where to go. So I've got these settings now, and then I just go ahead and hit Next, and it's going to ask me, okay, where do you want to put this? I'll put it into Movies, and then Save.